Hi, Rich Schefren here. Now, if this were the usual kind of video, I'd open up by telling you about all the amazing successes I've had, all the people I've helped, and all the incredible things that clients, thought leaders, and gurus have said about me. But that's not why I'm here today, and this is definitely not the usual kind of video. So if you don't already know the gurus I've coached, the companies I've grown, and the results my clients have come to expect, there's a button on the right that'll search Google for my name. If you click on it, you'll see over 100,000 pages about me, my successes, and all the multitudes of online business owners that I've already helped. I'll let the search results speak for themselves. Next, if I were following the established formula, I'd present you with an amazing new opportunity. Tell you about how the internet's about to change dramatically and talk about a whole bunch of gurus and regular people that are crushing it online, using what I've shown them, hinting, of course, all the while that you could be just like them if you were to do what I say. Now, the thing is, that's a great formula for marketing and selling information products, but it's a formula that puts you smack dab in the middle of a losing game, disconnecting you further from your own natural abilities and making you even more dependent on the expertise of others. But the reality is, the internet is not about to change dramatically, and that's because it already has. And you've been dealing with its effects day in and day out. And here's the irony in this. You see, back in 2006, when I released my free report, the Internet Business Manifesto, all I had was the report, a blog, and a coaching program. And believe it or not, that was enough. Enough to bring in $3.5 million in less than a month. Enough to go viral and get downloaded by over 1 million prospects. And enough to bankroll and build my company, Strategic Profits. Now, in the manifesto, I talked about how complicated things had gotten for online business owners if they actually tried doing everything by themselves. But today, it's multiple times more difficult and increasingly more complex, requiring you to be in more places, with more marketing messages, using more types of media, covering more channels, while competing with more entrepreneurs spread out across the entire planet. It would be close to impossible for just a blog and a free report to cause that kind of momentum and success for anyone, and that includes even me. Now, don't get me wrong, attaining that level of success is totally possible, but not if you're following the same try-to-do-it-all approach that I railed against back in 2006. Because that didn't work then, and it most certainly doesn't work now when there is so much more to get done. But the good news is there's a much better approach, one that has you doing a lot less and making a whole lot more. And in this video, I'll show you. Now, I realize that's probably very different than what you've been led to believe, because for as long as you've been trying to make a go of it online, you've been told that the reason the internet's such a powerful vehicle for growing a business is because you can literally tap into a worldwide audience of buyers, right? You keep hearing that anyone with a pocket full of hope and an internet connection can grow a business from zero to an online empire all by themselves. That all you need to do in order to make this happen is buy some magical push-button solution or step-by-step system, which I guess is at least half true, because it would have to use magic to get the results that they're promising you. Now, if you've been a victim of that, don't feel bad. I think we all have, myself included. Because we so wanted it to be true, we suspended our disbelief for the remote chance that it might actually work. At some point, though, on the road to success, we realized magical buttons, overnight riches, they only exist in business fairy tales. And to make the money that we want, we need to shift strategies. We have to go about it as if we're building a successful online business, not buying a lottery ticket. Now, whenever I mention an online business, some people immediately tell me they don't want a business. They just want to make money. But when I explain to them what I believe is the ideal business, the type of business that I have for myself and that I've helped my clients create for them, the same people who told me they didn't want a business tell me having that type of business would be a dream come true. Because an ideal business is one that of course makes you money, but it's so much more than that. An ideal business grows, succeeds, and profits by you doing the tasks that you enjoy and that you're good at, and nothing else. Very key what I just said, especially that last part. Only the things you're good at and nothing else. To make it online, you should not have to step outside yourself and be like someone else. In fact, that formula is keeping you confused and ultimately steering you towards failure. So my personal definition of an ideal online business is a business that is a secure business that makes you money while only doing those things that you enjoy and not all the stuff that you don't. That's exactly how I run my own company. And it's the reason why my clients have had such great successes. And that's what I'm here to show you how to do right now. Now, let me ask you a very serious question. What would it mean for you if I could show you a clear path to having a business where you almost never needed to do the things you aren't good at or don't like to do? And what if I told you that even if you're just starting out, you could make an extra $2,000 a month only doing the things that you're already good at and enjoy? Would it mean that you look forward to waking up in the morning or telling your friends and relatives how you're making that extra money, or how you've been able to afford a couple of vacations, a nicer car, a bigger house, or whatever you're really into? What about a business that could make you 6 figures a year only focusing on things you're best at and enjoy? Now, I realize that might seem hard to imagine, but that's only because you've been led to believe that you have to do a lot more than what's really necessary. I can assure you that for me and for my private clients, we've set up our businesses to do what we enjoy most and make considerably more, a lot more than 6 figures. And we're not alone, because it's the same for the people that you see on screen right now. These are all online business owners that I've coached to success using the same principles that I'm telling you about today. And the biggest reason for their rapid climb to success is just one small shift, one small change that made all the difference in their business. Now, before I tell you about this small shift, a shift that in all likelihood you'll have to make as well, I need to warn you. You see, I cannot promise you won't be offended by some of the things you're about to hear. You may be. And I can't guarantee that you won't disagree with some of it. You probably will. You might even think it's from the world of science fiction, but it's not. And it's more common, much more common than you probably realize. So please, for your own sake, don't be dismissive about what I'm about to tell you. Please don't make the mistake of thinking this doesn't apply to me, because it's my contention that it most certainly does, more than you could possibly ever imagine. So to be as clear as possible, if you've been unable to get started, if you're not making the money that you thought you would, or your business isn't where you want it to be, you're about to find out why. You're about to find out what's causing it and the small shift that you need to make, like the people that you just saw. How can I be so sure? Well, it's simple, because you could be doing much, much better right now. You know it and I know it. We both know that you're capable of greater business success and increased income, right? And if you're like most people, you've probably already realized that magic doesn't work, wishing more won't make it happen, and studying more doesn't seem really to speed up success. And now I'm going to explain to you why. You see, we all know how destructive a computer virus can be, how it starts with just a simple line of code that left unchecked can take your entire computer down. And that's why antivirus software today is on almost every computer. But did you know that a false belief can have the very same impact on your mind? One false belief, fully bought into, can ripple out and have a devastating effect on your actions, your thinking, and your overall results. I'll give you an example. About 50 or 60 years ago, it used to be believed that smoking was actually healthy. Now think about that. If you actually bought into that belief that smoking was healthy, then maybe if you had a cold or bronchitis, you'd go out and smoke a pack of cigarettes. Or you'd make a point to smoke every morning, smoke every afternoon, and smoke every evening, the way some people do exercise. Now, obviously, you can see that one false belief could lead to cardiovascular disease, it could lead to cancer, and so many more different problems, all because you accepted just one false belief. Now, these kinds of beliefs we call mind viruses, because of their ability to spread and replicate. And here's the thing. The online marketing space has become a breeding ground for malicious mind viruses that's responsible for more struggle, more overwhelm, and failure than any other single cause. It's been spread through the marketing messages that have overrun your email box, the sales pages that promise you the world at the push of a button, and the gurus who pitch supposed secret strategies for success. And this isn't the first time that the online marketing community has been infected with a mind virus. Back in 2006, when I wrote the Internet Business Manifesto, it was my way of exposing the mind virus of opportunity seeking, which is a false belief about how success is achieved online that spread from one internet marketer to another until everyone had it. I'll explain to you how this current mind virus has weakened the minds and bent the will of millions looking for success online. You'll find out how multitudes of entrepreneurs, possibly you amongst them, have been lulled by a very seductive Pied Piper song away from the success and security that you're actually after towards a set of traps that you might already be caught in right now. I'll also show you how by merely becoming aware of it and by changing just one thing about the way you think and act, You can free yourself from it and rapidly create an online business that not only makes you wealthy in a material sense, but also liberates you from the fog of confusion, the overload of stress, and anything, absolutely anything vaguely resembling work. Now here's the thing. You keep hearing the same message over and over and over again about how easily you can have a successful online business because there are so many options for reaching people and making money with the internet. But the truth is, the reality is, it's actually all of those options that are the cause of the real problem. But if you're like most of the people who took part in the survey that I conducted recently, you can identify with one of 3 online business traps. These traps are where 95% of internet marketers and online entrepreneurs get hung up, and they're the result and the proof of this mind virus. Now, the first online business trap is paralysis. About 72% of people get stuck right here. This is when something is stopping you dead in your tracks, and no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you just can't seem to get things started or to get things completed. So you buy lots of online courses, lots of ebooks and programs, hoping that they'll spur you into action. But they never do, because all that additional information, all that time spent learning new widgets weighs you down and prevents you from making any real progress. It's kind of like being an airplane pilot on your very first flight. You finally reach your destination, but somehow you just can't seem to land. So you continually circle around the airport until you run out of fuel, and you end up crash landing. Or if you somehow manage to land your metaphorical plane and push through the paralysis trap, you're more than likely to get caught by the second online business trap, the wheel. Around 19% of online business owners get jammed up by this trap and watch their dreams disappear. This is when you actually somehow have gotten your online business started, but you aren't really sure what's mission critical and what's not, what's actually leverageable and what's not. So you try and do it all, which is absolutely insane. No matter how fast you go, no matter how hard you try, you just can't keep up with a workload that never ends. So right now, I want to ask you an important question that you should know the answer to immediately without even needing to think about it. So here it is. What are the top 3 most essential activities that you need to be working on right now inside your business? Now, if you can't answer that, then there's no doubt that right now you're working on non-essential activities, which means they're trivial tasks that have you trapped on the wheel, spinning faster and faster, and yet getting nowhere. I've been there, and I know how much that can suck. And if you're like me, it doesn't take long before you start thinking there's something wrong with you. And if it continues for far too long, you end up burning out, maybe even hanging it up because you just can't continue on like that. But let's just say, for hypothetical reasons, that you're not in that 91% of entrepreneurs who get caught by either paralysis or the wheel. Maybe you've made it with someone's help or guidance or some other stroke of luck, but either way, there's still one more trap. It's lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. And this trap, the third and final one, which ensnares the remaining 4% of online entrepreneurs who get caught, is the wall. Now, the wall is the trap you get caught in when you've been up and running for a while, and you've already pushed through the first 2 traps and think you're finally home free. Then all of a sudden, pow, you seem to hit an invisible wall, a barrier between you and your next level of success. If you're there right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're not, the best way to describe it to you is to tell you what it's like in my office. You see, one of the walls is made completely of glass, and every once in a while, someone who's never been in my office before doesn't see the glass wall and bang, unexpectedly walks right into it. It's not pleasant to witness, and it's embarrassing for the visitor, just like it's shocking and embarrassing for an entrepreneur who can literally actually see where they want to go. They can see it, but they just can't get there. So let me ask you this. Did you easily make more money this year than you did last year? If not, you've already hit the wall. And if you did, how certain are you that you'll make more money next year? You see, over the course of the next few days, I'll show you how easy it can be to break free of whichever trap is currently holding you back. I'm going to help you get on the shortest, most simplest path to a successful online business with the least amount of effort and the highest amount of certainty. But before I get to that, I want to assure you that no matter which of these 3 online business traps that you find yourself in right now, you're not alone. And in this video series, you'll understand why it was absolutely bound to happen and that there was nothing, absolutely nothing that you could have done to avoid it. But you'll also see how easily you can fix it. You see, I'm here to help you figure this out, and in order to have a firm grasp on what's currently holding you back, you need to understand the root causes of the online business traps and what has to change in order for you to get the success that you're after. But before I move forward with the root causes, it's important that you identify the trap that you're currently in. Because the first step in getting out of any trap is to recognize that you are in one in the first place. Because only then can I show you how to get free of it. So right now, below the screen, just look down. Below the screen, you should see a set of icons where you can pick the trap that's currently stopping you from the success that you're after. I want you to go ahead and click on one of those traps. Which one has you stuck? Which one is robbing you of your dreams? Is it paralysis? Is it the wheel? Or the wall? So in the next video, I'm going to introduce you to the 3 root causes that lead to getting stuck in those online business traps. The root causes are as follows. 1, misdirected focus. 2, upside down leverage. And 3, unnecessary complexity. Now, all 3 of these root causes, which I'll get into depth about in the next video, are symptoms that you're infected with the mind virus. They're what's keeping you stuck, forcing you to work harder than you need to, and ultimately steering you away from the money, success, and freedom that you desire and deserve. In the next video, I'll elaborate on these root causes and help you understand why they're not character flaws or quirks in your personality. They're just a natural reaction to the current online environment. And once they're eliminated, you'll see how much easier it is for you to have a business where you make the amount of money you desire, working less than you are right now, and doing only those things that you're good at and that you enjoy. And over the next few days, I'll show you why what you've been told to do to have a successful online business has only ended up creating a large group of very confused, poorly paid people who are spending way too much time learning and not nearly enough time earning. What do I mean by that? Well, thanks for asking, because in the next video in this series, you'll see how by simply getting rid of the mind virus, you can become a virtual money-making force of nature. So by the end of the next video, you'll know exactly what to focus on and how to leverage it to have an online business that builds wealth and serves you, instead of you being enslaved to it. Plus, you'll meet the man who inspired me to create this video, and you'll see how what he showed me improved my business and my clients' businesses faster than anything else ever has. You most likely have never heard of him before, but when it comes to online business shortcuts, he's the single most gifted entrepreneur that I've ever met. His talent for getting things done, leveraging technological and human automation, is unmatched and unrivaled. When you see what he has to show you, you'll realize in an instant how easy it is to have a business that turns a large profit, whether you've been at it for a while or even if you're starting with next to nothing. His methods are designed to cause the greatest amount of progress with the absolute least amount of effort. And with what he will show you, you'll finally understand the meaning of a virtually hands-off online business. One that gets you new customers and the right kind of traffic that will pay you for doing what you're best at and what you enjoy. You'll even see what happened when a couple of people shook the mind virus, and they'll tell you themselves about the profit that rapidly resulted from breaking free of it. One of them added an extra 5 figures to his bottom line in less than a month and ended up earning over $1,000 an hour. And in the next video, I'm going to reveal to you who this mystery man is and exactly what he showed him to make that $1,000 an hour, and you'll know it all by the time that next video is done. Oh yeah, do me a favor and leave a comment below letting me know what your business is, what trap that you're currently struggling with, and what life will be like for you after you've broken free of it. I'll be reading the best posts during this video series, and if I read yours, you'll get a brand new iPad loaded with all the notes from the last 500 books I've read in the last 2 years. So leave a comment, and thanks for watching. So, yeah, that was a video back from 2012, and it was for a program called Profit Hacks. And for anyone that has come across anything as it relates to repurposing, this was the first course, really, I think, or one of the first courses on how to actually do that. That was 9 years ago. On repurposing. And the whole idea behind it, really,
to tell you really quickly, and for those who just tuned in, my name is Rich Schefren, and I do these live streams every Tuesday and Thursday. I do them on Tuesdays from 2 to 4, and I do them on Thursdays from 6 to 8. And I want to welcome you to being here. And if this is your first time, or you've been here every time, or somewhere in between, please make sure to comment. Please make sure to emote. And most of all, please make sure to share if you think I am worthy of being shared, and I hope I am. And as always, I try to make these live streams a dialogue, not a monologue. It helps me help you. And so it also tells the algorithm gods of Facebook that maybe they should share this with more people, and they do. So that's why comments and shares are so important. So today, what we're going to talk about are digital marketing strategies overall, but what I want to tell you about are what I see as the trends and where the biggest leverage points are, and that's really the important point here. Where are the leverage points in digital marketing today? And that's why I was inspired to show you that video that I just showed you, because that video that I just showed you was for this program called Profit Hacks, and it really taught people how to get maximum leverage as it relates to content. And so I set that video up for this, 4-part video series to help first have people self-identify how they were stuck, right? Why they weren't making as much progress as they could. Now, we got thousands of answers back, and I still have those answers. I have them out in the closet back there. And we could then go through all those answers to really get a sense of the language that people were using, as well as how they would describe the problem, etc. So great marketing research came from that. And from there, actually, before I even launched this, before I created these videos, I had done a live stream to my customers, and with Pete Williams. That was the guy that was the creator of this whole methodology. He's not very active in internet marketing anymore these days. He's a very successful entrepreneur down in Australia, and I just disappointed him with the launch because it happened to coincide with the beginning of my midlife crisis. So Pete, if you ever see this, just know that even to this day, 9 years later, I apologize. However, that's not what we're talking about today. So we did a live stream to my clients, and we did it over 4 hours to show people what was possible. And so we started by creating a mind map. It took about 5 minutes to create a mind map on a topic, and then what we did was record an audio of Pete and I talking about that topic, kind of going through it all. And that was like maybe a 15-minute conversation. Then from there, he sent it out. You got to remember, this was 2012, so some of the technology that we have today was not available, such as the automatic transcription and all that kind of stuff. So he sent it out to be transcribed. It got transcribed, and then it went to his VA. His VA edited it, and it became a blog post. They edited the audio, it became a podcast. They sent it out to I think Elance at the time, I don't remember, the freelance site had someone create animations for it, really cool animation, and that became a video that went up on YouTube. And all through the night, then it became an article, and then it became other stuff. And so all through the night, more and more things were created from that one piece of content. And we then made an offer, an inside offer for our customers, sold at a ridiculous amount. In fact, I think we sold it for like $500 to my customers, and we sold 360 of them, on the live stream. So $180,000 came in, which was really cool because I spent about $40,000 on my live stream setup, and I immediately got back 180, so that didn't suck. We then launched the course, and I was going to write a report on it, and I started to write a report on it, and then I was finishing it, but whenever I wrote one of these reports, like these marketing reports, I always let the research take me wherever it took me. And that was fine for me because my coaching programs hadn't been created yet. Whereas with Pete, he had already created all the content and didn't really want to go in the direction where the report kind of went. And so where the report went was with leverage. And the idea behind it was that my belief was that without recognizing it, online entrepreneurs have gotten upside down leverage consistently over time, getting less and less leverage from what they were doing. And the reason why was that in the beginning time of the internet, right, there was only really text. There wasn't even audio, right? So the marketing was pretty straightforward. It was just writing and that was it. And then, audio came and it wasn't like incredibly necessary. So, you might have learned how to do audio. You might not have. But what I want you to appreciate without having to go through every kind of detail of this is that there's been an explosion of channels, right? There used to be just a few oceans where all your prospects were. Google, pre-Facebook, it was Google, people's websites. That was basically, kind of it. And, Twitter, people would go to Twitter, but generally to go back to a website. There's been an explosion of channels. There's also been an explosion of mediums. And so there's no longer oceans of prospects. It's now more like puddles of prospects all over the internet, all consuming different media types. Okay. And so you as an entrepreneur are getting less exposure for anything that is created. And my belief has always been that most entrepreneurs do not allow, what the hell is my girlfriend asking me? What are your favorite apples? Oh, my favorite apples are Fuji, yes. So because of that, right, they're under leveraged. And my belief has always been that most online entrepreneurs go about things overall the wrong way as it relates to trying to create more in the desire to get a bunch of stuff out there. They sacrifice quality for quantity. And my success, my own personal success, as well as what I've helped engineer, in excess now of $15 billion, has been always through less quantity, higher quality, right? Like my whole business was built on 7 reports that I wrote, right? That were never advertised. And my life was very different because of those pieces. And I didn't write every day. I didn't want to do that, nor am I capable of that. And I think like the way I summarize it is that most people don't allow enough time for greatness. They are so going to the next thing and the next thing that they don't allow something to make something powerful, something that can more than likely last for some period of time, possibly even stand the test of time. And because of that, they suffer, right? My view is create less, but have processes in place to have that be everywhere, in every format, so that you spend more of your time on creating high quality content, but you get the benefit of if you had spent 90% of your time on distribution, because you've already put the processes in place so that you create something once and it goes everywhere, right? And so that was where the idea of Profit Hacks took me as I did the research. And Pete, where we had like, not a disagreement, because that would even be too strong of a word. I mean, he just didn't want to go down this direction. I wanted to therefore put into the course, not necessarily me, I wanted him to do it because it was his course, information about how to create these high quality pieces, right? I guess it would be in today's vernacular, if you did it on a blog post, it would be called the pillar post. So that was what Profit Hacks was all about. But today, what we're talking about is digital marketing strategies, and I'm recording another YouTube video at the end of this live stream. So, as you guys have witnessed before, I get nervous when I record things as opposed to doing things live. And I really enjoyed being nervous in front of you. And I enjoyed your support in my nervousness. And I hope that it was useful to see that you're not alone in if you get uptight like I do about recorded video, that, it is what it is, right? But if you let that stop you, then you'll never, one, get better. And getting better is just about consistent attempts that are purposeful, thoughtful, deliberate practice, right? And it's also, you're robbing yourself of the exposure that you might have gotten. And that is a damn shame. So hopefully by seeing me nervous and me kind of in my own head, so to speak, that is inspiring to you that it isn't not normal for that to happen. So with that said, I always like to say hello to everyone, and then we'll dive into these digital marketing strategies that I believe where you get the most leverage. And I've actually taken some notes. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go, kind of. And more notes over here. And then we got to figure out this video together for YouTube. And I'm already feeling a few butterflies in my stomach about that. So, John Sinclair from PA is in the house. I am good, sir, and I hope you are too. And Kayvon is in the house. Hello, Kayvon. We had a good call the other night. And thank you so much, Kayvon, for sharing. And thank you so much, John Sinclair, for sharing. And Jason is in the house from Tampa. Good to see you, Jason. And Lisa is in the house from Miami Beach. Good to see you, Lisa. Vincenzo, he loves this video. Yeah, like always, right? The promotion videos are always the best videos. Great production. Thanks, Milos. Deb Millette, looks great. Thanks. I really like the beginning because I think, at that time, and nowadays I have less pages about me in Google, but at that time, there were over 100,000 pages about me, and you'd be very hard pressed to find anything negative. So instead of having testimonials, what we had was just a button on the right that searched my name in quotes. And the video, said that, like, instead of telling you about all the people I've helped, all the business I've helped grow and whatever else, I'll let my results speak for themselves. On the right, there's a button. When you click it, it will open a new window with a search of my name in Google. And in there, you can read about everything, right? And it's a powerful demonstration of credibility to be able to say, like, let the public weigh in, right? As opposed to curated testimonials. And it was just a powerful, I dug it. I thought it was cool. It's timeless. Thanks. Love the ad, Rich, very creative and dynamic. Bet you did it in one take too. Well, I did it in a few takes, but this take, they fooled me, and this is a common strategy, and they still do this to me, and I still go with it, is that after we get one in, like, we get a cut that is worth it, like, that is good enough that we can use this, like, more than good enough. We get a clip that's good. The next one, they ask me to over emote. Right? Move my hands more, be more dramatic, like take it to a 10 and really exaggerate. And generally, when I do that, they end up using that one, or they use lots of pieces of those because it's not my natural way, right? To be overly expressive, overly emotive, yet that's what generally does best in video. So that's the story of the takes. Anyway, that's something, though, that I will do nowadays on my own when I'm recording something. If I've got one in the like if I got one in the bag, then I'll often do another one just to wing it and see if I can do it better now that all the pressure's off because I've got one, right? Lewis is in the house from Mexico. Good to see you, Lewis. And Asma, hello to you, and let your light shine as well. And Hugo in Miami. Good to see you, Hugo. Oh, okay. This was me asking you guys. You know, it's really weird. I'm having some problems with Ecamm lately. I don't know if you're having problems getting on it, but like Hugo, where I was, and they're still not, your comments aren't showing up. And it's really bizarre to me. I don't know why I'm seeing them on my screen, but not on my Facebook page. It's weird. And then also when I'm scheduling an Ecamm, for some reason, even after I schedule, it doesn't count down. It just asks me when I want to go live. And it makes me feel like the post didn't go because it doesn't seem like Ecamm recognizes it. So anyway, hello, Asma from Egypt. Hello to you. All right. Oh, whoa, I skipped a few here. So you remember it. That's cool, Darren. Yeah, it was a good video. And like I have explained, Hugo, what the offer was. Hello, Eddie from Brazil. Nice to see you. And hello, Mimboso. And hello, Miyuki from Tokyo. And hi, Ophir from Aventura. Oh, Florida's in the house. Ophir, I don't know if we've ever seen you here before, and if this is your first time, welcome. Miyuki wanted to watch it. A bunch of you said let it play. Delegate your weaknesses. Yes, cool. Ubdala, I would like to discover what it is. Seems like I am still trapped, having been following internet marketing for a long time, but somehow I'm still holding myself back. Then you need to read. Oh, yeah. Where did I put that? I'm just making a note for myself. You guys will appreciate the note. I promised on the live stream yesterday for Steal Our Winner members that I would put in the Facebook group the first report I ever wrote for Founders Club, which is Your Business Blueprint, and it walks you through how to go from an idea to a business that you're ultimately free of and gives you my perspective on it. Ubdala, I would recommend you read The Hidden Obstacles that is already in the Facebook group. It's a report I wrote for clients that is free in the Facebook group. And then also I would recommend that you download and read Your Business Blueprint, which is also going to be in the Facebook group for free. So you'd want to check those two things out. Great video. I like it. Thank you. Yes, paralysis. Yeah, I know the feeling. Is this video for live stream only? Where can we find and listen to it again? Well, you can always find these live streams in the Facebook group. You should be able to see it there. And if for some reason it's not there, because I saw that there was like one or two that seemed like it didn't have permission all of a sudden, you can always go to my Facebook page and it will be there. And we're also posting these completely to YouTube, but we haven't let them see the light yet. So maybe I don't know what our plans are with that, because we're cutting these pieces off, but it will be accessible on Facebook at the very least. Wow, notes from all the 500 books that you have read. Well, I've read a lot more than 500 books, but the 500 books that I most recently read at that time. Miyuki, you rock. Miboso, you rock. Hello, Denise. Good to see you. Hello, Jane from DC. Thank you for sharing. Cam Fats is in the house. That's who the exciting thing is. I have to be here. It's my live stream. Is that process and result possible nowadays? Yeah, it is. I think that, a solid repurposing strategy and processes of those are still can reap you huge rewards. And while it's something that I've been very slow to get going now with Strategic Profits in its current existence, we did have it before, and we most certainly will have it again. And I'm just waiting for my assistant to kind of get the ball rolling with a lot of that stuff, because I don't follow systems well. I can design them well, and I can blueprint them, but I need other people to execute them. And so, these live streams will ultimately, as we get them more and more repurposed, right? Like as we use more of it, as we have the capabilities in-house to do wonderful things with it, then I will spend more of my time preparing for it so that the quality of it goes higher. And therefore, like in these 4 hours a week, I am creating all the content that is necessary for emails, for blog posts, for videos on YouTube, videos on LinkedIn, videos on Facebook, not just the live stream, but cut up stuff and edited stuff. And that's where I believe that each of you should really be thinking about, that you want to get the absolute maximum leverage from what you're doing. So therefore, then you can invest more brain energy, more time into those things. That's kind of the idea there, Deb. Where am I? There we go. I'd like to know as well. Well, there you go. Awesome message, man. Appreciate all you do for the IM community. I appreciate you too, Cam. Great. Hello, Peter from Toronto. Good to see you. And Eddie from freezing Chicago. Woof. Yeah, Chicago's got to be a bitch and a half. Mars and Michelle left today to head back to Colorado, and I was not envious of the weather there, that's for sure. Thanks, Jane. Thanks, Cam. Peter Stephen Tan from Malaysia. Cool, Peter. Nice to see you. Darren Lee. Thank you, Rich, for sharing just how nervous you get recording. You always come across such a superstar, so it's nice to know that you're an ordinary guy and I'm not alone in that regard. No, I am. Yeah, and I haven't seen that many people that are that comfortable. I know a few people, but not very many. Gives me hope and confidence that I can do it too. You certainly can. Anyone can. Hey, Rich from Montreal. We'll watch the video in the replay. Okay, Pat. Good to see you, though. Rich Schefren, where can I meet you in Delray? I live close by. Yeah. Maybe we will do a meetup pretty soon. I think that would be kind of fun. Not sure when we'll do it. I am going to be having lunch with Hugo pretty soon, but maybe after that, we will figure out where a bunch of us could meet up sometime. That would be a lot of fun. I'd like that. Adam, my old client Adam. Hey, Rich, do you have suggestions for how to tune out the ambient chaos of the world right now to concentrate on the important stuff of life and business? I stayed away from the news and social media since December. That's helped, but I wonder what other tools you think would help people. Thanks. I think that's all you got to do, right? Like I haven't, since the election, I really don't have any interest in the news, and I haven't been watching the news, and it's kind of been nice not to watch the news. I don't miss the time suck, and I certainly don't miss the upsetness that it causes. So I'm on the same page, Adam, and I like the reprieve. I really do. And if that makes me less patriotic, so be it. But I don't like where everything's going. And I don't think I want to, my power is somewhat limited to make any effective change to that. And so I would prefer not to keep it in my purview. And so, yeah, I don't read the newspaper anymore, and I don't watch any news programs. And I save that time for more reflection, more thinking, more writing, and more time with my family. Hey, from Quebec, Brandon, nice to see you. And thank you for the compliment. It was Mars and Michelle who made that video for me as well. Hey, Davey Paul, what's up? Good to see you. Is there a different Facebook community for Steal Our Winners? Not yet, but there will be at some point. Meet up, love to join in Orlando. Okay, cool. We'll let everyone know. Yeah, I mean, where I'm still right now with Steal Our Winners looking for that. And I'm speaking to a lot of people, and I have some leads already, but I'm speaking to a bunch of people looking for a company that does outsourcing, because what I want to do is I want to take all of the CLR winners that are appropriate to be outsourced each month, and then report back the following month the results that we got, and also make the outsourcing company that got those results for us, applying those processes, available to Steal Our Winners members, so that you could actually just pick a strategy and then have someone else apply it for you. So that is what I'm working on right now. In addition to that, a podcast that I record right after the Steal Our Winners interview. And I'm also talking to some people about possibly doing like a challenge every other month to the outside market for Steal Our Winners, like for a couple of the strategies, and possibly doing a challenge or two a month inside Steal Our Winners just for clients, so that I want to foster a sense of community as much as humanly possible. We will then also create a Steal Our Winners Facebook group that will be separate from the standard strategic profits group, so that we can do more with the strategies inside the Facebook group. And so we will be doing that. Don't have a timeline yet, but we will. Those are all in the works. And there's a lot of other stuff that's really cool that's in the works, but I am doing my level best to make Steal Our Winners so insanely great that we can have it as the only front end that our business needs to build out strategic profits into numerous gurus, not just me, but because, like, at the end of the day, I teach people how to be better entrepreneurs, but there's other skills that need to be learned. And therefore, having other gurus offering that would be phenomenal. And if Steal Our Winners can be the front end that supports several gurus, that would be phenomenal for the business and its simplicity. And so I think it in its current format, it already generates enough powerful marketing stuff that we just have to figure out how to turn everything else into processes so that all this other magical stuff happens. Just for example, right? We could tomorrow have done, right, by somebody, we could have, let's say, 4 packages that you get when you first subscribe to Steal Our Winners. And the 4 packages are the best of lead gen from 2020, the best of conversion, the best ways to increase conversion of 2020, the best ways to increase your traffic in 2020, and the best media buying strategies of 2020, and then list the experts in each of those that provided the content, right? So Russell Brunson would be one on the conversion because of the funnel that he shared, right? Let's say that Justin Goff would be another one because of the upsell strategy he shared. And, that could be the 4 premiums that you get when you subscribe to Steal Our Winners. Or it could be the 4 premiums you get when you buy the annual, right? So there are so many things that we could be doing. And to me, it is phenomenal that there are all these options, because we've talked about the value of options, but it's frustrating at the same time to crawl when you want to run. And I'm used to running because, my businesses have always been bigger, or the companies I've worked for or worked with have been bigger. Where Strategic Profits is a startup at this stage. And while that's fun and it's exciting, it's also a little bit frustrating because my ability to do stuff is so severely limited. Because in general, I do things through other people, not necessarily as much these days, or what I was used to, let's say, of doing as much on my own. And I'm not saying that Matt isn't doing a hell of a lot, as well as our affiliate manager, as well as Jack, as well as Jordan Menard, who's our media buyer, and everyone else. But I'm used to a bigger team. So anyway, that don't remember what got me on that tangent, but maybe it was a question. But anyway, yeah, so that's where we're going with Steal Our Winners. And I'm super excited about all of it. I'm just frustrated because I wish we could do it all tomorrow, right? And I think the podcast will be dope too. I just like what I want. I want to come up with like 3 questions that I ask each guest after the Steal Our Winners interview. And then that will go on YouTube as a podcast and then also be a podcast. And I want to ask questions like, what's the single best marketing campaign that you've ever created or been involved with? And what are the biggest takeaways, even still today, that people can take away from it, right? So that would be a very different answer than the answer that they are currently providing in Steal Our Winners, which is a strategy that they currently have that's crushing it. And we can end the interview with like, a wrap, some kind of audio message that says, you just heard the best campaign that our guest has shared of his, whatever. But if you want the strategy that is currently working best right now for our guest, you can get it right now at Steal Our Winners, right? And so the podcast would be another great vehicle that really would require practically no effort and could be really easy as a way of getting a lot more people in Steal Our Winners. And there was something else I wanted to tell you about Steal Our Winners before I move on to this. There was one other thing that, I definitely, this wasn't the thing, but I'll tell you another thing that we really want to put in place. We want to have a growth hack. We want to have a growth hack or strategy contest where each month we are receiving submissions of members' strategies, and we would pick a winner each month with a cash prize, and then thinking about a really big prize for the best of the year. And once we had those outsourcing people in place, like a lot of the things that got submitted by others, we could test out as well. So there's just a lot. And I do remember the thing I wanted to share. The other thing that I really want to do, and I'm hoping to do this actually pretty fast, is to turn Steal Our Winners into a private podcast as well, so that all of the segments will be delivered automatically to anyone who is subscribed to that private podcast, which would obviously be just our subscribers, right? But this way, an easy way to just get all of it. If you already listen to podcasts, good way to kind of re-cement all the material. So lots of stuff going on. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today to talk about digital marketing strategies, and that's incredibly important to talk about since we all are online entrepreneurs, and that I have to record a video for YouTube in 50 minutes. Oh my God. All right. So I'm interested to, so let me just answer this. How to subscribe to the podcast. Right now, you can't, there'll be the free podcast. There will also be the private podcast. Both of these don't exist yet. But I plan on having them both available pretty soon. And to answer Deb, would I consider another SOW-a-thon? Yes, we actually are going to be doing it again. I wanted to do it on March 13th or March 10th, because I wanted to do a 50-hour live stream this time. And because I've gone well past 50 hours before. And I wanted to end on my 50th birthday. So I wanted to end on March 13th at like 12:01 a.m. And so like the idea was to do that. And we certainly have enough contributors at this point for it to be that way. And I couldn't think of a group of people other than my family, which would be there, that I would like to celebrate my 50th birthday with. But we thought that Russell was going to do his funnel hacking live then, so we wanted to be respectful of that. And then also with COVID and everything, we just weren't sure whether enough people would want to fly by then. So hence, we've kind of put it on pause. It's something we definitely want to do, and it is something that we are going to do. And we do need to figure out dates pretty quickly. Let's see. Okay. So I still don't really know what is best to present in the YouTube video that we're going to create at the end. And I want to talk to you about what those things might be, right? In other words, I'd love to get your feedback as to what you think would be interesting to talk about. So I made a list, and I'd love to hear from you what you might want me to expand on, right? So I want Clubhouse because that's the thing right now, right? The implications of the Pixel being replaced, although I don't necessarily have a lot to say about that, although that's going to have implications this year. Once again, we could talk about live streaming video, live stream selling, and what I think is what you're going to see over the next year with that. There's certainly been a rise in AI copywriting and AI content creation. We could talk about that. We could talk about value and how it needs to be not only in the marketing that you create now, but it actually has to be far forward and easily obviously noticeable, and potentially throwing people right into the value right up front as a way of still gaining attention. So you could call value really the attention getting strategy. Community engagement, it's not a surprise that I think you're going to see a rise in community engagement or the desire for that. That's one of the reasons why I believe we need to do it. I think that, more and more, the more that you can put a wall around your community because you've got them so highly engaged, I think the more protected your business is in the long run. The forever customer, right? The idea that as customers become increasingly a more valuable commodity because the cost of traffic increasingly rises, therefore the cost of acquisition is always increasing. Hence, the desire and the need to hold on to a customer for longer, to the point of forever, right, is an idea that many businesses are moving towards. And you can see it like with what Apple's doing, right? With the Apple phone finance program, where they will sell you the phone, break it up into 24 payments with no interest. And after a year, you could trade that in for a new one, right? They'll waive the last 12 payments, and as long as you're getting a new phone that's on the same plan. So I've been on that plan, I guess, for like 5 years now. And they've started doing that with cars. And so who knows? Maybe one day they'll be doing those with houses. But the idea of trying to hold on to a customer forever is not something that most entrepreneurs, I think, yet have gotten their head completely around. There's the idea of, there's definitely going to be a rise in chatbots and more of the messaging type of interactions online. But what I think you'll also see is that more people will have dialed in messaging or chat to phone. So it's about using the chat functionality to qualify people, asking 2, 3, 4 questions that are more yes/no questions, but determine whether this person is a customer or not, like a valuable prospect or not. And then if it is, having that immediately transfer to a live rep who is now answering by typing, and then having that person get the person they're chatting with in an actual conversation on the phone or audio or Zoom or what have you. So more streamlined chat into actual audio or visual interaction. Leverage. It's what we've been kind of talking about, mobile marketing and the implications there. There is one that I definitely do want to talk about, and that is reputation management. It is not what you think, and it is something that is happening around us as we speak. And it has implications everywhere, and there are definitely areas that you're not thinking about that you need to begin thinking about. So we're going to go into reputation management. Aggressively following the net rules. So being a good guy, right? Like creating valuable stuff and things of that nature, and explain why that's important these days, but also doing it in a hyper aggressive sort of way. So you're following the rules, but in the way that you're following the rules, you're not doing anything slimy or sleazy, but you're amping it up through process and through automation so that you are overdoing the good guy to the point that it becomes highly effective. Twitter advertising. I think that I'm hearing more and more people telling me that they're making Twitter advertising work and work well. LinkedIn. I'm hearing more and more people telling me about getting LinkedIn dialed in and getting it to work really well for them, and that it's still the Wild West over there as far as things that you can get away with there that you can't on other social platforms. I think I don't want to talk about these, but I'll just mention them. Micro interactions, reducing friction by making every step of the process seem so insignificant. And looking at the concept really like of concentric circles surrounding your website and attempting to be the flame, not the moth, right? Many entrepreneurs seem to act like moths. They bounce around all over the place. What you want to be is the flame and have the moths who are your prospects, like in concentric circles, right? YouTube, Google, Facebook, have them bounce around and find their way to your site. And I think you'll see an increasing, even though the trends say it's decreasing, I think it is for maybe larger brands, but I think smaller brands haven't fully plumbed the worth of influencer marketing. And, nowadays, there are a lot of people out there that kind of position themselves as gurus when, in fact, they're influencers. So more and more of the people who are out there, like even in online marketing or digital marketing or internet marketing or whatever you want to call it, they're actually influencers who are deftly using Instagram and other social media channels much more so than they are in the traditional sense of what I guess an online marketing guru used to be, at least. And obviously, I might be somewhat biased being an old timer. But anyway, so those are some of the things that we could cover. We could cover something else as well if there's something that you think is interesting. All right. So let's see. Is there a way to contact you for some SOW ideas? Max, do you mean strategies or SOW ideas of things that you'd like me to find? Because if it's things that you'd like me to find, you can just put it in the chat here and I'll see them. And if you have strategies yourself, then message me in Facebook and I will respond. Okay? Oh, well, that's very nice, Miyuki. I appreciate that. That's about the live stream. 50, you look at least 40 to 43. Well, thanks. I feel that young, but yeah, 50. Great. Clubhouse, are you speaking there now? No, I'm not. Oh, do you mean am I piping this in through Clubhouse? No, I'm not piping this in through Clubhouse. Um, People have told me I should. I want to create a Steal Our Winners room for Clubhouse. I think that having all of our contributors be able to show up at specific times would be really really cool. But that's added to the list of 100 other things that would be awesome to do. So, got to crawl before we run. Yes, Clubhouse still waiting on an invite. You're still waiting on an invite, Jason? Um, Hit me up in Messenger. I can get you an invite. Are you on the waiting list? Because if you're not on the waiting list, you might already have a friend that can just pull you up. So make sure you're on the waiting list before you even reach out. Value and pricing. How to be the one versus one of many. That's cool. Could talk about that for sure. Being the authority. Okie dokie. I'd love to hear more about live stream selling. That's relevant to my interests. Okay, cool. We'll talk about that. Love to learn more about community engagement. Okay. Since you're going back to the top of digital marketers, I'm glad I can say I knew you when you were still mortal. Newbies have no idea what's coming for you, but trust it will be all to your benefit. Yes, it will. Davey, thank you for that. Copywriting and more marketing strategy and digital product. Gotcha. Live stream selling. Cool. Okay. Live stream patient value was our most precious metric. Lifetime patient value was our most precious metric. Yeah, I would say more and more today, Dr. Vogelman, that I would make a strong, I believe that average cart value on acquisition is probably the most important metric, primarily because most people it's that purchase experience, it's that commercial experience that determines really how fast a company can scale, unless they have insane, deep pockets. And so average cart value often is the biggest determinant of the success or failure of an offer, and then also how long an offer can actually survive, how far it can scale. But I'd say right after average cart value, then it's lifetime value for sure. AI copywriting, okay. Forever and ever until one dies, either the doctor or the patient, consultant, or client. Exactly. But, the forever, that's what you were talking about. Yeah, well, the idea behind it is that at some point, it's probably going to be close to impossible not to go negative for a lot of products. And so, because you'll be competing with other businesses that are also playing the same game. And therefore, holding on to customers as long as possible is incredibly important. Reputation management, cool. Wow, I have not heard of people getting results with Twitter ads. Yeah, I will probably do a Steal Our Winners about that soon. There are a lot on Instagram. Yeah, if you're talking about the faux guru / influencer, I heard it's getting much better now. What did you hear is getting much better now? Same here. Got an invite, but it didn't work. Sent email to support, received automated reply. You can expect a response in 1 to 2 days. That was over 3 weeks ago. Yeah, they've been a little glitchy at times. Influencer versus guru. Wow, there is too much misrepresentation on the topic. Yeah, there certainly is. And that's the one I would say. I love Clubhouse. People share a lot, and that's awesome when that's going on in a room. I could also say that there's oftentimes a lot of one-upmanship or the attempt for that, and I just find that kind of hilarious. There have been people who've tried to one-up me, and it's just kind of hilarious because, like, when I'm giving advice, and I don't give advice that often on Clubhouse, but when I do, I'm talking about my own personal experience, and in this particular case, it made me millions and had made millions for my clients, and like The guy that tried to one-up me was just, I don't know, I found it humorous. All right. Let's see. I gave out 3 invitations to Clubhouse recently. I will have more of them next week. Yeah. I just invited Mark Ford. He said he was going to get on. So I hope he uses my invite. That'll be cool, because then on Jay Abraham's profile and Mark Ford's profile, it will say invited by Rich. Clubhouse is now how following is new. How to follow you there. You just put under my name and then you'll see it. Hi, Rich. A few months ago, I could access your 2020 collision to save the internet, the 24-hour one. I recently checked and I should not get it anymore. Would you be able to put it in Steal Our Winners? It is in Steal Our Winners. If you don't have it, Andrew, then reach out to customer support. Unless you weren't supposed to have it, then they might have taken it back. But if you paid for it, then you are supposed to have it, and you certainly should have access to it. And you could just hit up customer support. Could not get it anymore. Okay, yeah, so then ask customer service. I have some invites if you need. Oh, cool. So Max is also inviting people to invites. All right, so let's talk about reputation management, okay? So what I'm talking about is more and more what all of these big tech companies are trying to do is to make sure that their customer experience is the absolute best it can be, as we all want in our own businesses, right? Like, that's what Facebook wants, that's what Google wants, and that's what every entrepreneur wants. And it's necessary, right, for Google and Facebook, et cetera, for them to have people do things that make the customer experience great in the way that they perceive it, so that people continue to use the platform, so that they get the data that they can sell to advertisers, so on and so forth. So more and more, these companies are trying to use data that they have access to reinforce. I don't even want to say they reinforce rules, because I don't see it as punitive at all. These big, everyone knows I have my problems with big tech. So certainly I have no problem saying that I think big tech does a lot of things that are, 1, illegal, 2, shady, and 3, just bad for everyone except for themselves. But this is not one of those things, right? What we're talking about here is that more and more, as an online business, your reputation precedes you in everything that you do. And so on a very as an example, right? And this is not really even an example I was thinking about talking about, but it's just an example. I want to talk about more specific things. But if you want to run an ad on many other networks, these networks don't have compliance offices and compliance people like Google does or Facebook does. So what a lot of them do is they kind of outsource it to Google and Facebook, not like where they're paying Google and Facebook, but they want to see that it's been approved in Google or Facebook, which means that your reputation with Google or Facebook is not only for Google and Facebook, but it's also for a lot of other advertisers. That's an example of what I'm talking about. But it's pervasive. So I just did a Steal Our Winners interview with Fernando Cruz that I don't know if it's going to be coming out next month or the month thereafter. But what I can tell you is that what we talked about was specific strategies that Fernando has now put in place that has made a night and day difference for Legacy Financial, which is the fastest growing and I think now the biggest division inside of Agora. And to the point where he has a list of about 900 and some odd thousand people that has a 50% plus open rate. He's got about 500,000 people with a 45% open rate, another list. And most people struggle to have over a 10% open rate for lists that are much smaller. What the conversation centered around were processes, right? But these processes were to deal with the fact that ESPs, right, email service providers, are throttling and shadow banning email senders. And look, Google is not in the business of cluttering their users' email boxes with what they perceive to be junk mail. And if you email people and only 10% open, then what that tells Google is that 90% are not interested. And so if you email every day and you email to people who haven't opened in a while, the damage that you're doing to your reputation is costing you without you knowing it. And Google has been for a while using time on site to be an indicator of the quality of content to determine rankings. Now, Google just announced, I think today, that they now have the ability to determine the authority of a website in many different topics, so that therefore it can give added weight to those sites that have increased authority in that topic, right? So it's not only a site that can have authority, but now it can have authority not just in general, but it can also have authority in numerous topics, so that it might rank higher or lower. It might rank lower than a site that has less authority overall, but higher authority in that topic. Now, it's basing authority, somewhat on links, but also on a lot of those on-site factors. And so, once again, this is reputation. And my belief is that with email specifically, that, it's like one of the reasons why I can email a friend of mine and I can put all the curses that I want in it, and I can make the subject line all caps and lots of exclamation points and violate every other spam rule, and it will get delivered, is because I'm, as a personal sender of email, 90%, 95% of my emails get opened, right? Like when I'm personally sending someone an email. So my personal reputation for an email is high, whereas probably Rich at Strategic Profits or Mail to Strategic Profits does not have the same level of reputation, and therefore it's more sensitive to spam words, right? So my point is that your reputation precedes you in pretty much everything, which leads me, right? And social is the same way, right? My live streams have been growing organically, and that's partly due to the fact that Facebook is being a partner in its growth, that it recognizes, right, that the time that most of you watch this is pretty lengthy as it relates to time on Facebook while these are going on. So it's looking for people that are on my lists and people who have engaged with my page that it thinks might tune in and stay tuned in. That helps them. So because of that, what they do is that the consistency of this and what you guys help me with the comments and the shares, it helps grow it, right? And so once again, I'm building a better reputation inside of Facebook. Does that affect how much I pay for advertising? I have no idea, right? Would I be surprised if it did? No, I wouldn't. Would I be surprised if it didn't? No, I wouldn't either. So I don't really know, but I would assume that more and more on whether it's ESPs, whether it's search engines, whether it's platforms or social media sites, your reputation becomes a great either multiplier of your results or a great reducer. And, you know, look, I think I told you this a long time ago on a different live stream about Neil Patel and how early on in Instagram, he used to post pictures of women in bikinis holding a sign saying, "Who is Neil Patel?" And he did that because Google favors brands, and it can identify brands that get lots of searches about the name of the company, the name of the brand. And so he was improving his search engine rankings by improving his quote unquote notability or number of searches in Google. So that was a while ago. It hasn't decreased, it's greatly increased. And the ways that these companies can monitor these things is highly sophisticated. And so odds are right now you're sending emails to people who haven't opened in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks. And each of those emails is a ding against you. Am I saying get rid of them from your list? I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you got to be more creative in your way of managing it. And I'm not going to necessarily walk you through the hour-long conversation I had with Fernando right now on how you do that, but it will be in Steal Our Winners. I'm curious what you think of what I've just said, so I want to kind of tune back into you guys for a second. Wow, 7:20. It's going to be a little bit more. This definitely is going to be a more difficult. I might have bit off more than I can chew. See, Vincenzo was like, maybe do. He was pushing me to something more specific, and now I get it. Excuse me. By the way, guys, unplugged, right? Like, I'm not getting reimbursed or I'm not getting paid for this, but I've probably had at least 500 different iced coffees, in my life. And by far, this is the smoothest tasting iced coffee I've ever had in my life. It is my new favorite. Yeah, it's better than Starbucks. It's better than anything. I love it. Not bitter at all, just smooth. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Where else is this live streaming being broadcast other than Facebook? Right now, it's just Facebook. We will be doing it to Facebook and YouTube, and then we'll be doing it Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But all in good time. All in good time. I was saying that I heard that Twitter ads are getting better. Would love to hear more about it. I don't have much more to say about that other than right now that Twitter ads are working well for quite a few people. But I definitely will talk more about that in due time. So are we safe with a 20% open rate, and can we improve our reputation appeal to the Google gods by deleting those who do not open in 6 months? Well, even 6 months, man, like think about it. Like a 20% open rate is better than a 10% open rate, but you got to strongly think about maybe you should be emailing the people that are not the 80% of people that are not opening. Maybe you should be emailing them a little less. Now, there's a point where it degrades, right? As far as you have to be emailing the people that open a lot more, and you have to be emailing the people that don't open a lot less until they open something. And once they open something, now there's someone who you can email a lot more. But no, I don't think long term, Dr. Vogelman, that a 20% open rate long term. I'm not saying like anything is magically going to change tomorrow. I'm saying, though, that if you were to improve it greatly, you would then also find you'd get Google's help or Gmail's help or all the ESP's help in getting it opened, right? Right now, they're not helping and they're actually hurting. And, it's obvious to them who sends important emails, and it's certainly not the ones that only get open 20% of the time, right? Your Facebook Lives are one of my biggest time sucks. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm sorry, got to go. I will listen to the replay. You never have to apologize, Asthma. I get it. It's cold brew. That's why. Yeah, it's cold brew, but even better than any other cold brew I've had. I like the habit of purging my wife's email list. It makes me feel like the Grim Reaper. Yeah, but does she like it? Excellent info on reputation management. Love SOW, and anything is better than Starbucks. LOL. If unopened emails hurt our reputation, would it be smart to remove subscribers who are not opening them? It would be smart to email them less, or email, like the system that we used to have was, but it waited way too long, and that was on me because I didn't appreciate this at all. But we used to we turned someone from green to yellow, I think, like after 45 or 60 days. I think probably 60 days. Then yellow to red if they didn't click on anything in 120 days. And then in 180 days, we took them out of red and we put them on a different email platform so that we could not be mailing those people anymore. And so we moved them from Infusionsoft to ActiveCampaign. And then if someone clicked on a link from ActiveCampaign, they'd immediately be put back into the Infusion list. But that is way too long. And there's a lot more to the strategy, but I wanted to just key you in on this overall concept that, you know, it's bad to have people come to your site and bounce. It's bad to have people unopen your emails. It's bad to have a group with very little participation in it. It's bad that if you're not like putting out content on either your site that people find sticky, or to social media, or to YouTube, right? So all of these things matter. And my point in sharing it is just to make sure that you're aware that it all matters. Interesting take. I have to think and digest this. Yeah, it's what I would say to you is that while I can't point to proof, although with Fernando's Steal Our Winners, there will be proof. Why wouldn't it be that way? Right? Like, why wouldn't it be that way? And if it is that way, then there are implications, and you got to think about it. I was happy when there was a 46% open rate. So was I. I've been subscribed to your mailing list for a few years, and you're one of the few people whose emails I open consistently. I try to be self-aware of who I'm resonating with so I can apply it to my own communication. Well, I appreciate that, Mboso. But, you know, like, I'm guilty of this. There are a ton of lists that I'm on that pretty much, because I've been like, there's so much stacked on my plate right now until we get all the people in place and we grow this and we do the things that I want us to do, that more often than not these days, I will just and delete. I'm just looking for anything that I got to get to personally. And that damages those people's reputation too. And so, you know, more and more, right, it means that the emails that you don't, like, think 5 years down the road, if ESPs really get somewhat enforce this, it means that companies will stop emailing you if you don't open their emails pretty quickly, which means that your email boxes will be a lot thinner, and the ones that don't will be blocked. That's how you overcome the email problem. So that'll happen. And, you know, I don't know how many of you who are on this live stream know that I have a tendency to be correct about my predictions about the internet. No one's 100%, but, you know, I did write reports like the attention age doctrine back in 2007 that said attention would be the scarcest commodity online. I wrote a report in 2007 that introduced automated webinars that told people that this will become a primary way that people sell in the future, and showed them how we were doing it at that time. So yeah, I kind of predicted the rise of social media and the attention age doctrine too. Let's see here. All right. Question, sir. With everything going on in the world, and since you can virtually see around corners, what would you suggest an affiliate right now? Create a product, become a service provider. What works best? What works best? Your advice at this time. Well, John, what I would say is what I always say with this question, which is, you should start out. Well, okay. Starting out as an affiliate is a great way to do competitive research without investing too much time, energy, and effort in creating your own products and doing all that. So, as far as starting as an affiliate, it's a really smart idea. Now, obviously, if you're going to do that, you should be an affiliate in the space that you want to go into, right? Like, that only makes sense, because if you don't, you're not getting the experience that would be very valuable. But if you do it in the area that you plan on going into, then it's a great way to get a lot of competitive intelligence and experience in the industry, right? Once you've done that, then the next step, in my opinion, is to always start with a service when possible, right? And the reason why you want to start as a service whenever possible, yikes, whenever possible, is because a service you get paid for while doing it most of the time or in advance. And so you have no product development cost. And more often than not, you can be creating the product as you're delivering the service that you're getting paid for. That's the model that I followed when I was creating a coaching program. I delivered a coaching program in real time, and that's what created my automated coaching program. My automated coaching program is a product. When I was delivering it live, it was a service. And I was able to sell the service in advance by getting into a conversation with the market and then having the market tell me, based on my research, what was the ideal kind of peanut butter to chocolate, right? Like, what was going to be the ideal matchup of my research with prospects and the market's challenges. And so that dynamic is always what's worked best for me, and that's what I would recommend to you, John. So if you can, you do affiliate stuff in the area that you want to go into. You gain experience, you understand the hot buttons, you understand where the traffic is best from, right? By being an affiliate. You get that information, and then you think about what service you could launch that you could ultimately turn into a product. It's just a really powerful way to go about building a business, starting a business, creating a business, and it's being done with the least amount of risk, of capital, money, time, and effort, and opportunity cost. So the alternative is to spend a lot of time building a product that maybe nobody wants. And life is too short to build a product that nobody wants. So by selling it as a service, you're getting real-time feedback, and that's really, really powerful. So hopefully that helps, John. I think it should. I have this cuticle thing that's distracting the hell out of me. I hope that helps, though, John. Engagement, good. Yes, that is that is so true. If we reduce it down to the simplest thing, engagement, right? I have to leave now. I watched the replay. Thanks for the insights. Well, thank you for being here, Andrew. And yay for smaller inboxes. Yeah, I think that's going to happen. Sean McIntyre. Good seeing you, man. After that direct mail renaissance. There are people crushing it in direct mail, especially as there have been less people in the mailbox. So, yeah, I would say direct mail is... you'll see maybe an increase in response rates from it, but also as we fear big tech more and more and the possibilities of losing access, getting banned, having that physical address is going to be really, really important. A tendency to be correct, a high probability that you are. So when a good amount of people pump in the automation and or copy my script swipe files, it amazes how so much of the same stuff is around. Moreover, the bland, vanilla, albeit dull emails I get, but that's gravy for me. Haha. So when a good amount of people, when a good, well, it's not. It shouldn't be surprising, Davey, that there's so much of that around if so many people are pumping it, right? Um, from service to product, great concept. Thanks. Amazing. That changed the game for me. Thank you. Cool. What do you think of longer form emails to your list where you get into a story and then have the lead to an offer at the end? I love those. And I think, but what I think is, if you want to know my opinion on what is the best type of email overall strategy, I would say, and this is influenced by Mark Ford's comments to me. So there's that, and I'm just saying that like I believe this 100%. But if you've heard Mark Ford say something like this, it could be because he said publicly what we've talked about privately, and I believe that the ideal length of an email is unknown, and not that it's unknown what the ideal length is, that the ideal length is that the length is not known by the receiver. So some emails should be really short and valuable. Some emails should be really long and valuable. And this way, there is never a presumption of what length the email is. So therefore, the email can't be relegated to, well, I'll open the long ones later, or first let me get through some long ones and then I'll delete, whatever it is. The unknown is probably the most powerful approach, which means that sometimes they are very long, sometimes they're just long, sometimes they're short, sometimes they're middle length, and that, in my opinion, is best because when everything can be predicted, there is no excitement and anticipation. And then things can be, people can make decisions without looking at it. It's one of the reasons, right, why my blind offer, the mystery box for Steal Our Winners, when I did the live stream, had a conversion rate of 78% for a $30 upsell. And it had it as, it did 78% because there was no way that you could say this offer doesn't apply to me because I didn't say what was in it. And just like someone can't say I don't have time for this email if they don't know how long the email is. So hopefully you get my thinking there. And, I'm glad you asked me that question because that answer, in my opinion, is very much a marketing answer, right? Like that's how you need to think as a marketer. That how do people engage with email when they go into their email box? And if you always send long emails, then you have to recognize that some people, some of the time, are just going to say, even if they're your hugest fan, they're going to say, I don't have time for this right now. And that might be okay for you in your business, the way your model is. But you got to recognize that happens, right? Because we've all had times like that, I would assume. And therefore, the emails that you really are unsure what to do with are the emails that are interesting, that sometimes are short, sometimes are long, etc. Right? I don't want to beat a dead horse, though. All right. Side question for perhaps another time, but what was the things that got you wanting to get back in the game back before the 24-hour event? Yeah, that's a question for another time, but I would love to tell you about it, so just ask me another time. I love you, Zuck. Please don't ban me. Well, what happened to Gina Carano? I did see that something happened to Gina Carano, like she got booted off Disney or something. I'm a huge Gina Carano fan, being a UFC fan. So she was really a, she was one of the OGs of female fighting. The other day someone asked me about my poker chips, and so and I during a interview, and so I explained to him that I actually have 3 sets on my desk. Not really going to go into any great detail about them, but I'll tell you what the 3 sets are. These are from the World Series of Poker. These are from where they have the highest stakes games of poker, I think, in the U.S., if not kind of in the world. These are from the Bellagio Poker Room. And then these are all poker chips from casinos that were around in the 50s and 60s that are no longer around, like the Tropicana and places like that. So these are the most valuable chips. They can never be replaced. The other ones can be. But these are the ones that I always play with. Well, I play with all of them, but generally when I'm talking like right now, I'm playing with them. And generally I'm going like this. Wait, I don't know if you can see it, but this is what I'm doing. I generally always get them right, but and it's just a nervous habit more than anything else. But let's see, can you see? Well, no, there we go. See, but I generally don't have my wrist that way. But anyway, I'm just turning them, flipping them back in like that. So anyway, yeah, that was reputation management, and I think we spent a lot of time on those. But I think that those are really valuable for you to think about it. I was trying to take a picture of my mystery box I bought from you while you were saying it, but it won't let me. Oh, bummer. No salsa with those chips. No, you'll break your teeth. Sweet chips. Cool. All right. So I would say, right, that if I'm talking about this on YouTube, that where I want to go is, Clubhouse, right? I definitely think there's going to be a rise. Clubhouse is going to continue to grow. I think what makes Clubhouse work so well is that, one, it's all in the present moment. And because it's all in the present moment, there is a fear of missing out from the people who get on, so it makes it more addictive. There's also no way to communicate with anyone, which forces people into Instagram and then see your Instagram account and then message you in Instagram. And so I know a lot of people who are already making good money on Clubhouse, and it starts with exposure on Clubhouse, telling people to direct message you for something in Instagram, and then using those Instagram messages to automate certain answers and make certain offers. And I know quite a few people who are doing that, and I think that should be strategy number 1 that I talk about as we talk about digital marketing strategies for 2021, right? So, and I'm not supposed to say 2021, that's only supposed to be in the title so that they can change it. Digital strategies that are working right now. All right. Clubhouse to Insta DM to offer. Okay, that's the first one. Live streaming and live selling. Okay, so with this, right, it's no secret that more and more platforms are live streaming, right? First, you could live stream everyone. I think Facebook was the first really to roll it out. Like, not that YouTube was allowing it, but only for select people. Now YouTube allows everyone to do it, I think. LinkedIn is not letting everyone do it yet, but probably will more and more as time goes on. And therefore, what you can see is that as more of the platforms are embracing it, you certainly want to recognize that they're not only embracing it, but they're pushing it. And by pushing it, what I mean is that they are trying to get live streams that resonate in front of more of their members, which is only good for you. For any of you who are even remotely considering this, the best time to have started would have been at the beginning of the pandemic when people were all trapped at home. But if you didn't do it then and you haven't done it since to now, the second best time is right now. Because there are still plenty of people that are in lockdown for one, and you will benefit from the rise, right? And TikTok is another example of another site that has grown and is video based. I don't know. I know some people who are doing well advertising on TikTok. I don't know very many. And I know some content creators that are getting a lot of views, but I don't know that many people that are like really monetizing it well. But that doesn't mean that it's not happening. It just means in my circles, I haven't come across anyone. So that's live streaming. And I think that with live streaming, it's such if you know your stuff, it is something that is so beneficial to be leveraging. It just really is. And while we haven't taken full advantage of it yet, we certainly will. And look, like, what else can I say other than there is nothing else that I'm spending 4 hours a week doing? So if you want to understand how long I am on live streams and its potential impact and all the things that can be done with it, I don't think you have to look further than there are very few things that I've done in my career as long as I've been doing this live stream, which I know sounds pretty crazy since it hasn't even been a year yet. But generally, like, if you look at like my daily videos that I used to do for my car, I probably did that for like 3 or 4 months. If you look at like when I used to heavily blog back in like 2006 and 7 and 8, like generally I would do it daily for like a month or two and then disappear. I generally don't stick with things for elongated periods of time, nor do I spend the amount of time that I'm currently doing with live streaming. And remember, I'm the guy that is talking to everyone about strategies that are currently working in their businesses. And yet what you see me doing more than anything else are these live streams. So I am not kidding you by saying how much I think it should be in your business. I am doing it for my business, and we are seeing effects from it. We will see a lot more effects from it as we get a lot of the repurposing in place and the expanded distribution in place. But once again, you got to crawl before you walk. I'm totally cool getting more experience doing what I'm doing right now so that as I go out to more platforms, I'm just better, right? I'm not slowing us down. Like, if we could be on those platforms today, I would do it. But I also don't have to be completely frustrated that I'm not on those, because I recognize that I am getting better. I'm getting more comfortable at doing this. I'm getting more an understanding of how better to come across, at least sometimes. And because of those things, it just means that I have a better shot of making things work when we finally get over to those other platforms. And especially when I get on a platform like maybe LinkedIn, which is still not open completely to the public, like if I can get in there earlier, right, that then allows me to really rise more, because like I'll be new, but I'll be new and exclusive there, right? So all I can tell you is like, I'm doing it, right? So let that be a lesson there. I think YouTube is just going to increasingly grow, and both as a place for content and also to advertise. There have been more and more businesses completely built on YouTube. And anyone who knows the name Ty Lopez, you know that you learned it and heard it more often, more frequently on YouTube than anywhere else. He built a personal brand of epic size with YouTube advertising. And so YouTube advertising is probably the fastest way to build a brand. It's one of the easiest to scale offers, and it's one of the few platforms that where not only can you build a huge following, but it transfers out of that platform more into the world. So I would definitely say YouTube advertising is another one of those. Okay, we did talk about reputation management, but I'm not going to repeat that. Is there anything else that you think I should cover? And then I'm going to have to go a little long for you guys. I apologize about that. But let's see. I guess influencers. I'm going to say influencers, and I'll talk about collaborating with influencers and leveraging them and stuff like that. What do you guys think? Is that a good list? Vincenzo, if you're here, which you shouldn't be because it's 8 o'clock, so it is now 2 o'clock in the morning for you. But if you're here, Vincenzo, would love to know what you think. Oh, it's been a long day. So I'm going to wait for your answers here, but as I'm waiting, once again, as I'm waiting and also stalling, uh, as I'm waiting and stalling, I want to once again just thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. If you shared, you're a rock star, and I appreciate you even more so. Um, I don't know what we're going to cover next week. These weeks just fly by. It's insane. Um, can't believe it's the middle of February already. And yeah, so I just want to say how much I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for each and every emoticon that you put on here. And let's now get serious about doing this Facebook video. But first, I just want to see. I just got a text from Matt that that 54% show up rate is pretty insane. So, or maybe that was from us, which would be pretty cool. All right. Okay. All right. So let me look at your comments, and then I am going to do this. Google Plus Hangouts were my first experience with live streaming. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Clubhouse is incredibly addictive. Yeah. So with your ads, you can use negative keywords to increase relevance of organic search. Yeah. And I like to divide email lists with service providers, but other than encouraging participation in Facebook groups, how would you keep it at a level which Facebook rewards you? I'm not so sure, Jason, on that they're going to reward you, right? For having an active Facebook group, but they're certainly going to ping you for having an unactive or disactive or a, you know, yeah, an unengaged one. And I would say though that there are a lot of things that you can do in a Facebook group. We're not doing many of them. We plan on doing lots of them, but you can have events inside the group. You can do networking events. You can raise some people to higher status by contributing more and therefore making them moderators. You can give prizes for the best comments that month or week in the group. You can, yeah, I mean, there's just so many things, right? You can gamify it. My DMs on Instagram are becoming unmanageable. Yeah, so then turn it into a business account and then link it to your Facebook account, and then you can answer. Then all the messages will be in your Facebook account as well, and then it's much easier to have someone else be able to go through it, or at least that's my advice. Um, TikTok as well, as long as you have 1,000 followers. Christopher Vogelman, we've seen TikTok videos that are sent to Instagram Reels doing very well. Yeah, I've seen that too, and also seen them go to YouTube. So repurposing across channels is also, we could say. All right. My associate made 12K in December through affiliate marketing with TikTok. He loves it. What's he selling, John? Is he selling like physical kind of products, e-commerce? I agree with the importance of live streaming. We are going to launch a digital course called Go Life Formula. Your service to product concept will be applied. Oh, cool. The list is tight and valuable. Cool. The list sounds good. We appreciate you more. The list sounds really good. Thank you, Miyuki. As I am waiting, installing, I'm saving that line for my lives. Thumbs up. Thank you, Rich, sir. As far as video or anything else in business, how do you fight procrastination so well? Uh, Constant pressure, my friend. Constant pressure. Howard, thank you so much. Great info as always. Cool. All right. So, see. Can I put this here? Hold on. There. Okay. By the way, did um, I think I weighed the same amount in the video that I played at the beginning of this live stream, and my face looks so much fatter in that, and I don't understand why. Because I certainly wasn't fatter then. I was actually like, I guess it was a camera angle or something. Uh, selling a He's selling a digital course on TikTok. Got it. All right. So the the list is um, Clubhouse, live streaming, YouTube advertising and channel, reputation management. Oh wow, influencer marketing and repurposing across channels. So the that's the list. And no, what I'm saying about my weight and the camera is that, like, if you look at me now versus then, and I can't pull it up now, but I'll throw up a picture like late, like another time. I think for some reason, like, my face was fuller when I was younger, and now it's getting like more. I don't know. It's weird. But I also mew. Do you guys know mew? MEW, the mew technique. I do that naturally, so I guess that's where you continuously always press the top of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and supposedly it makes these muscles more defined. You can look it up on YouTube. It's another biohacking kind of possibility that it might work, and I think it's healthy anyway, so why not? All right. All right. Okay. I'm getting ready, guys. Uh, okay. Hey there. Today we're going to be talking about digital marketing strategies that are currently working right now. And that's important because if you want your business to grow, if you want to make money online, then obviously the strategies that you put in place are going to make the difference between success and failure, between working really hard or not having to work that hard at all to get monster results. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Rich Schefren. I own a company named Strategic Profits. I've coached people like Russell Brunson, Ryan Dice, Todd Brown of Marketing Funnel Automation, and many of today's top gurus and online business owners. They first got their education working with me way back when. So we're talking about digital marketing strategies that work today. And the first thing I'm going to tell you about is Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a new social media platform. It's completely audio and it's completely in the present moment. What I mean by present moment is that there's no recording, there's no history, there's no past or future there. There's only the current moment, which means that when people get on there, they have a large sense of fear of missing out to leave, which means people spend a long time on that platform. There's also no way to communicate with one another on that platform other than a room where you're either a speaker, someone that's followed, or just a person in the room. Now, what many people are doing with Clubhouse, because it's so easy right now to get an audience, to get people to join into a room that you start or a room that you join that you get elevated to speaker, that people are flocking to Clubhouse to promote their products, themselves, etc. And the way that they're doing that is by offering something of value, something for free while they're speaking, by telling people to direct message them in Instagram. You can tie your Instagram account to your Facebook account if you have a Facebook page and a business account. They could all be one, and then you can have someone filter through all your messages and set them up into an autoresponder sequence. So that's the Clubhouse tip or strategy, and it's working incredibly well for many people. I know many people that have already done over 6 figures, and Clubhouse is still a relatively new app. So that's number one. Next is live streaming and live selling. It's no mystery, and it shouldn't be a hidden thought to you that live streaming is growing on each and every platform. YouTube made it available this year to everyone. Facebook has been pushing it for quite a while. LinkedIn is still only letting certain people do it right now, but we'll open it up at some point soon. And so why that's important is that as these platforms are pushing live streaming, what it means is that they'll be pushing you if you do a live stream. In fact, right now, as I'm recording this for you on YouTube, and if you're liking this, please hit the like button and please subscribe. But right now, as I'm recording this, I'm actually doing it live on a live stream. I have people watching me right now as I record this YouTube video for you. And the reason that I'm doing it is for the same reason that I'm telling you should do it. And what you'll see this year is that more live streams will be out there. The platforms will be pushing them. And as they push them, they will also people will start integrating selling into them. In other words, just move into a sales presentation right in the middle of their live stream. I think you'll see a lot more of that. And also, what I can share with you is that because the platforms are pushing live streams, you can get their help basically in finding your audience. And then the audience that you find through these restreaming channels of YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere else, those audiences can then be accessed later for your promotions. That's what we're doing at Strategic Profits for our top products, Steal Our Winners, and every person that comes and sees any of my live streams anywhere is then targeted for ads for Steal Our Winners. And it's not a surprise to us, and nor should it be to you once you start doing this, that is our best performing audience by far. And it's not because someone just saw my video for 3 seconds. It's because on Facebook is looking for people that it thinks will like my live stream, because when people are watching a live stream, they're on the platform, and that's good for Facebook. So they're finding my audience, and then I'm using that audience to send promos to, and you'll see a lot more of that in this year. Next is YouTube itself. YouTube is continuously growing, and there is the advertising side of YouTube, which is phenomenal. And it's the easiest place right now to scale an offer. The algorithm for YouTube is working phenomenally well at identifying people that are ripe for what it is you're offering if you put it in the hands of YouTube. They use all of Google's data, and they have a tremendous amount of data themselves. So I'm seeing more and more companies move their advertising to YouTube. It's not only very effective to scale, it's one of the best ways to build a brand today. And there are many examples of that. I'm not going to make this video too long by giving you them, but that's on the advertising side. And on the content side, it's growing as well. And so it's a place to spend more time. It's one of the reasons you're watching this video right now on YouTube. I practice what I preach. Next is reputation management. This means so much. I wish I could spend more time on it. I can't, but what I'm going to tell you is going to maybe be something that you've never heard before. Email providers are throttling emails. They're shadow banning people, and they're pushing more and more into promotions or spam boxes or trash because of how many people are opening your emails. You have to get more aggressive in taking people who are not opening your emails, if you send them daily, and move them to possibly sending them weekly, and then possibly even sending less frequently. And what it means is that the people that are opening your emails, you need to be emailing them even more. That boosts your reputation with email service providers. It's the same now with Google and the way that they're able to not only give authority to sites, but they're giving authority to sites for different topics, which means that your reputation more and more is preceding you. It happens in social media. It's happening on YouTube. It's happening in Google, and it will happen. It's now happening with email providers. It will happen everywhere. And I'll do a video in the future that really dives deeper into the implications of it. But for right now, know that if you can get your email open rate up, it will then start filling like a self-fulfilling prophecy of it going higher and higher, especially if you're emailing more to the people that open and emailing less to the people who don't. Next, influencer marketing. I'm not going to give that the attention it deserves either, but more and more entrepreneurs are recognizing the power of influencers. They are much cheaper than affiliates or joint venture partners if they have a big enough audience. And it's one of the fastest ways to grow any organic channel. So whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on YouTube on the content side, the fastest way to grow a channel is to partner and collaborate with someone that's in your space that already has that following or is growing a following in that area. So you'll see more collaborations with influencers by entrepreneurs. I know big brands are starting to move away from them, but you'll see that space eaten up more by entrepreneurs, and you should be one of those entrepreneurs. I can assure you that I will be one this year as well. And I would say just repurposing in general is going to get bigger this year, and you're going to see more repurposing of taking a TikTok video and placing it on Instagram, or taking a TikTok video and putting it on YouTube, or taking a Instagram video and putting it on YouTube in its current format so people can actually even see it. And in addition, there'll be more and more of a need to create better content and have better distribution channels, right? The experts tell us that 10% of our time should be on content, the other 90% on distribution. Well, I would say you spend more time on content, but not by making more of it, just making it better and putting more processes and automation in place so that, in fact, your business grows and you get that distribution without having to spend 90% of your time on distribution. So those are the strategies. There are Clubhouse, right? You should be on Clubhouse. You should get on there. You should see what it's all about. Live streaming and live selling. YouTube, both on the advertising side and the content side. Oh, also Twitter advertising, getting a lot better. If you haven't advertised on Twitter yet, you should explore it. There's also reputation management across the board online. There's influencer marketing, and there's repurposing across all channels. So those are some of the top digital marketing strategies that are working right now. You want to make sure that you're spending some time on those. And you want to make sure that as you institute these in your business, that you pay attention to the results that it's getting for you so that you can double down on the ones that you see having the most life, and then you eliminate the ones that are not delivering as much as the others. So as I said, my name is Rich Schefren. If you like this video, there's plenty of other videos I have on my channel. Subscribe. I have this service where I interview top marketers each and every month about the strategies that they currently are using that no one knows about that's currently crushing it. So I have a direct pipeline to the world's best marketers each and every month as they share with me what's working. If you're interested in that product, it's called Steal Our Winners. There will be a link below. But if you're not interested in that right now, at least subscribe to this channel, because I take some of the information I get from those marketers and I share it with you. So subscribe, thumbs up, comment below so that we can thank the YouTube algorithm gods, and I will see you in the next video. Cool. I think that was a little bit more than 10 minutes. So what did we think? Was that good enough? It's aging for you. Well, if I'm getting thinner looking by aging, that's a good thing. Biting. Thanks, Miyuki. There you go. Whoops. Rich, the one take wonder. That was buttery smooth. Awesomeness. Okay. SOW. Thank you, YouTube algorithm gods. That was awesome. Cool. No chips required. And cool, guys. Thank you so much. I thought I was gonna mess it up. I actually thought at the beginning of the day of the live stream I was going to figure out a way to chicken out, but don't ever let me do that. If I try in one of these, make sure that you hold me to task. So I guarantee you it would not be that easy if I was doing this alone. I would probably take 50 takes. I got to find it, but I have a video of a bunch of times where I mess up, like when I used to have to do one take, like for a 20-minute video off a teleprompter, and I'd make a mistake at like minute 12 and then have to retake the whole thing. And it'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning and I would get a phone call or I'd slip on my words and I'd be like, like whatever. I bet you guys can imagine. So yeah, so we'll pick a new topic for Tuesday. And I have lots of suggestions, so I just got to peruse through that. And I hope to be giving you more updates about not what I want to accomplish in Steal Our Winners, but what we are accomplishing in Steal Our Winners over time. So that's about it, guys. I still got a lot of work in front of me tonight. It's fun. I know that right now Kim wants to kill me because I'm working a lot more than I have well, I took 5 years off, right? So, but even in the last 3 years. And what I have to ultimately figure out is how to better manage my time. But what she doesn't understand right now is she does understand it's necessary right now as we build up the business. What I've been explaining to her recently is how much I'm enjoying it. It feels so awesome to just be engaged again in something and be purposeful and to be chasing something, right? Chasing the vision that I have in my head for what I want created, right? And this is like, I have this, I'll end with this. I share this I'll put this out of my mouth for a second. I share this in BGS, in the old BGS, in the first module, where I'm talking about the game of entrepreneurship. And, it's a fire hose and it's like 2 hours long. And it is the opposite of these live streams where I come in over prepared and just tear at it. And one of the things I talk about in that first module, one of many, many things, is that I think that being an entrepreneur is the closest thing that you can be to God in the standpoint that you're getting to create something like out of your head, right? It's not even biological, right? You're creating something out of your head that if you do it right, it can grow much bigger than you. If you do it right, it can live longer than you. And if you do it right, it can have a bigger impact and make a bigger difference in more people's lives than you could ever do. So when I say that I'm chasing this vision, that's the vision I'm chasing. That's what makes it so exciting, that I'm trying to create something that hasn't been created before, that in my mind is so different than what it is today, right? And so the excitement is to see if I can get it to be the way I see it, and can I make it even better than that? Can I figure out faster ways to do that? What other ways can that vision grow by talking to people and they're like, you know what would be cool? And so that is part of this process to me that makes this so exciting, that like it's like a game. And every day, like, I am anxious to wake up to see what sales we made last night. I'm excited to see like what is winning in a split test. I'm excited to see like how many new subscribers did we get on YouTube and how many views, and is anything ranked differently? And all of these things are the feedback that I need each morning to get out of bed excited about what I'm going to find. And, you know, that I recognized a long time ago, like when I went through my midlife crisis, that the only reason to have a goal is that it gets you out of bed and gets you moving in a direction. That's the only reason. Because when you achieve the goal, it really doesn't make that big of a difference in the grand scheme of things, like a week or 2 or 3 or 4 later. And so if you're feeling like you're procrastinating or you're not going after your goals, then what I would strongly recommend is that you look at your goals and really reevaluate them, because the purpose of your goal is not to get to something. The purpose of your goal is to get you out of bed, get you into action, purposeful action in the direction of where you want to end up. But the goal is there just to get the action. It's not there to define the destination. And it took me much longer than I would like to think to recognize that. It's a cliche, right? It's not the destination, it's the journey. But for whatever reason, that cliche didn't land on me, and I didn't recognize how important, how the responsibility for action is on the goal, not on me. I got to find the right goal that gets me to take action. I don't need to take action to fulfill some sort of goal. I don't work for the goal. The goal works for me. The goal works for me, or it does not deserve to be my goal. So let that marinate. And I'll see everybody on Tuesday. To Higher Profits and Beyond, Rich Schefren over and out.